shake it like you want my birthday.
This is the K-Pop Cast, and today, guys, we are joined by a legendary fourth generation team this year celebrating 5 years in the game. It is Genius Korea.
1, 2, 3. Hello, we are Genius Korea.
Woo! Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to get into your journey from debut till now. Obviously, there's a lot of stories, a lot of juicy behind the scenes detail from your experience in the industry, right? Like, you know, from fan wars to cease and desists to getting retweeted by BTS members. Like, right? It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Thank you so much for having us, Michaela, on the K-Pop Cast. We're very excited.
Right. And guys, but before we get into all of these juicy topics, don't forget to join the K-Pop Cast listener fam on Slack. And of course, chip in for editing costs. Links to everything in the episode description. But let's just get into it. I'm so excited.
It's your birthday, make a wish.
Today we are joined by the leader unit, right, of Genius Korea. For people who don't know, Syed, you are I'm basically a member of the K-Pop Cast, right? At this
I am
point,
here
but
as Genius Korea today. So
yes, you're here as Genius
Yeah.
Korea today. Can you please introduce yourselves individually and share what your position is on the team? Starting with TQ.
All right. Hello, everyone. I go by TQ, and on Genius Korea, I am the head of transcriptions and new releases. So I focus on making sure that all your favorite songs and albums and translations are up on the website as soon as possible.
And what is your TMI for today?
Yeah, my TMI is that I have 20 unread Genius messages that I probably should look at, but I am very, very busy, and so I haven't had the time to go through all of them. And to all the people that messaged me and to all the people that messaged me and are in need of help, I'm sorry. I'll get to it very soon.
Real. Anna?
Okay, hi, my name is Anna, and on Genius, I kind of do a lot of content writing and editing for like the forum articles that Genius Korea publishes. I do sometimes help with releases when I wake up for them, but you see me mostly on the article and editorial side. I also do a lot of outreach recently for our team because we've been expanding, but yeah, that's me.
What is your TMI for today?
Oh, I have a good one. Actually, I just came down, or like I just recovered from a pretty violent stomach bug. I actually sent like Syed a few pictures from the ER.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I'm all good now. I'm okay.
Sending you lots of well wishes and love. Hopefully while you're
Thank
traveling, you're very healthy in your journey.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Syed.
Hi, everyone. My name is Syed. I am the founder and head moderator for Genius Korea. And so my job entails just, looking over everything, whether it is transcriptions on the site, editorial stuff on the website, the articles, event coverage. I also handle a lot of the Twitter and the social media outreach that we do. So yeah, that's me. And I'm the diamond admin. Do you want to introduce our emojis?
Oh yes, please. What are your representative emojis?
So I'm the diamond emoji.
Ooh.
Whenever we tweet, I'm the diamond admin. Yeah.
Okay. Anna?
Oh, I'm the autumn leaf because one of my favorite songs is BTS's Autumn Leaf. So yeah, that's me.
I am the shell emoji because I am the one that creates all of the shells on the site. Shells as in shell pages, as in songs that haven't been released yet. They get a shell page before the lyrics come in.
My emoji does not have the backstory. It's just a diamond.
Well, isn't it because you are an XOL
Yeah.
It is.
It
It is
is.
because
Right? Let's not lie. It's a very significant emoji for you, Syed.
it's from their Love Shot era.
Yeah, we know. Sorry, it's like when I first joined the server, like I don't know, like 3 years back or something. Like I saw his avatar and I was like, oh, okay, XOL. And I was like, oh. Like, there's no question about it.
And it's
Right.
never changed. It's been that ever since.
It has. It's become sort of like my thing.
Yeah, I stopped associating the diamond with EXO, and I started associating it with you instead.
Yeah.
I love that. But Anna, you talked about expansion, right? So my first question that I want to get to, for people for new fans who aren't familiar with your group, it's kind of like a triple S NCT, right? There's like limitless members, right? So can you explain a little bit more about what the main concept of Genius Korea is?
I think that Genius Korea is really about just gathering like fans and very like dedicated contributors, like really around the world, that kind of love K-pop and want to contribute to it from a lyrical and editorial sense. So you have your like general contributors. They like are on the website, like TQ described. They're on the website every day. They make sure that like the news lines get transcribed, and they go back sometimes and they like kind of clean up old on pages, basically in however way to like promote their like favorite artist, right? And then on the editorial side, which is like a newer edition, you have a lot of writers. Some of them are also Genius contributors, like they transcribe and they also write, like me and Syed. And then there are also like the newer group of writers that we kind of recruited this summer, that solely are here to kind of help expand the range of our editorial content. So like for example, now we have a few column writers, a business column writer, one that's like, I think she's a Korean native and like she does articles for like K-pop news, like official K-pop news channels as well. I'm not very sure, but like it's like a whole bunch of things, right? And
I think like the way I would describe our concept is like storytelling, because we always have like a very big focus on like storytelling in the way that, you know, like lyrics are transcribed, and then we try to do it in the editorial work that we do is always focused on what kind of stories are we trying to tell to the fans and to everyone who's reading our content. So yeah, and everyone's focused on that as well. Like you can tell a lot about a song through storytelling if you look at it from that perspective.
TQ, do you have anything else you want to add about what the main concept of Genius Korea is?
Reiterating what Anna said, it's like a big community for K-pop lovers and writers and, you know, regular K-pop fans too, to come contribute to something that like helps the K-pop community. So I think more on my side when we do transcriptions, it's a lot of people that joined they want to like give back or you know, just contribute to something that will help other K-pop fans, whether that be, you know, getting our lyrics up as fast as possible or providing translations in different languages to all these really amazing K-pop songs, whether really popular or like kind of unknown. Like we like cover so many different releases that there's like something for everyone, and everyone feels like they have a chance to give back to the K-pop community.
So we're gathered here today to celebrate 5 years of Genius Korea, but let's take it back to obviously your individual moments, like when you first debuted, when you were first, you know, on the scene. What was that like?
I guess so. You know, it's been a long time. So I joined Genius when I believe it was like 2014, 2015. So it's been almost 10 years. And then I was promoted to, so Genius has like a hierarchy of contributors, so you get promoted based on the amount of work and effort you put in. And I was promoted to editor in like almost 8 years ago. And then 5 years ago was when I was promoted to moderator, which is like the highest you can get as in a contributor on the website. And that's when I launched Genius Korea. That's why we are celebrating 5 years. So I guess I remember it was very overwhelming. I have this weird thing where I always feel like an imposter syndrome situation where I'm like, I do not belong here. I don't know how I got here. My grade crashed, climbed over the fence, sort of thing. But it was a very interesting thing because everyone else was already on board with the K-pop wave at that time, except for Genius. And so it was like almost like everything was on my shoulder to, promote the content, recruit people, and, train those individual contributors to, because these two, I didn't help them technically directly, but these two were promoted after Genius Korea was launched to moderators. So it was like, figuring out which individuals and which contributors show potential for, to become leaders in the community. And these two were just like the obvious choice, I guess.
Okay, so I guess I'll go next because I joined Genius, the website, in 2016. So I'm going on 9 years, I think. When I started, I mostly worked on American and Western groups, boy groups and girl groups, and I think this space was, I think it was a little less saturated than the rap that the website mostly focuses on. And so I, made myself like I made a name for myself on the website at least for working on especially boy groups and figuring out how like group music we'll say should work on the website and then in 2018, 2019, or 2018 I got promoted to be an editor just based on my contributions on the western side of the website. But then after I became an editor, I took a little bit of a hiatus in 2019. I wasn't really contributing to the website very much, and in my hiatus time, I really got into K-pop. And so I'm a relatively new K-pop fan because of that. I mean, maybe not anymore because I know some people who got into K-pop after COVID and all that. I can still say I'm a before COVID K-pop fan, which is makes me like a not midlife. Like a not new but not old either kind of K-pop fan. So it all came together when I think during COVID in 2020 I had less things to do in my personal life and I remembered, oh yeah, I'm a Genius editor. So I returned to the website. I was really into K-pop. I started finding, Genius Korea had like just started up and it started building up and Syed reached out to me and was like, I think you contribute a lot to K-pop, come join Genius Korea, and that's where it all started for me. And here we are, 5 years later. In the middle of it, I got promoted to be a moderator, after helping out, shaping the community in a way, like figuring out how we should do transcriptions, how we should do translations effectively, and yeah, now we're here. So that's my story.
Okay, I guess I'm up. So my story is kind of similar to TQ's, where I was also, well, I think all of us are like Genius contributors from like the old days. And I say the old days because honestly, back then, the editorial standards were really different, like on the website itself. If you ask any old, by old I mean like I don't know, like 2018, 2016, like Genius contributor or editor especially, they'll tell you there was like a legendary staff member who like went around mentoring like 200 people at one time. I was also one of those. And I got promoted to editor like 7 years ago. And it was, I think they were probably going through what kind of we are going through right now, and they were trying to like rapidly expand the site. So I got promoted to editor the same year, I believe. I started contributing to the site, and I was a hardcore Swiftie back when I joined. So I
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah. So I was contributing a lot to like Taylor Swift stuff. Um, and I occasionally got yelled at because there were a lot of other Swifties on the site, and they were like editors and moderators. So that was like my first time experiencing like the hierarchy. Like, obviously they were nice, but I like, it's the first time you realize, well, there are like different roles to like this Genius thing. And I after I got promoted to editor, I also went through kind of like a lull. I like left Genius for a few years because that was also like I was graduating middle school and I had to go into high school, and it was like a big change. So I just had to step away for a bit, and then I also got into K-pop around 2019. So, but even then, like, it was a big change for me. And around COVID again, I didn't have a lot of things to do. And I remember very clearly, like, BTS's Butter dropped.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know, say what you will about the lyrics, but it made me go back to Genius for some reason. So I went back, and I can't remember what I did, but I did something, and then I got like a message in my DM being like, and again, like, because it's been, what, I might have left for what, like 3-4 years. So by then, like, again, like Genius Korea had been established, and the editorial standards especially had like changed a lot. This is 2021, so like I got a DM saying that like, hey, you're messing up the song page, like, you, whatever you're doing, don't do that. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, because like that's how we used to do things back in like the way that I was trained. And so I was probably like the latest addition to like this leader unit, you would say.
Yeah.
For I think the first 2 years that these two knew me, I was just like an editor. So it's great to hear that I showed potential, because honestly, I felt like I was making so much mistakes just because like these standards are so different. Like, I had to learn everything again. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for helping me become a moderator.
Now I'm very curious about Syed as a trainer. Like, how would you?
I don't think I should be answering that question then. I actually, it's interesting because we we're trying to recruit, because the thing is with editors, it's more about the editorial content, and we have a role called transcriber, and it's all about transcribing songs. But with moderators, the idea behind them is that they are leaders in the community, and so they have to show a little bit more than just your typical editorial transcription jobs. Like, you have to engage with other members of the community if they need help, and trying to figure out new things that we should do. And so with TQ, his thing was always like, he was always very good at figuring out the guidelines for certain things, and how, like, the code of conduct, or like how to lay out everything step by step for the new users to use as a guide, and then start contributing to the website. And he's really good at it. And so we were like, that's good, that's great. He wrote so many of the guides that we have on how to contribute to the website. And then with Anna, it was always the editorial side of things. She just is a really good writer. And I don't know if I tell you this enough or not, but yeah, it's like, back in the day, we used to write these like really long articles about dissecting like song lyrics, like line by line, frame by frame. And she just had such great ideas, and she just knew how to do the research and like all of that stuff, that I was like, this is perfect. And so I didn't get to directly promote either of these guys, but I hope that I was part of their training.
Of course you were.
Yeah, of course you were.
But yeah,
I
so
want to get into to because you've been talking about how things have changed over the years. So what is been the biggest difference editorially or from debut till today for Genius Korea?
well, our like ever since we established Genius Korea and ever since TQ got on board, we just have like really good guidelines for how to transcribe Korean songs. Because back in the day, people just did not like it was just horrible. Like we go back to some of the old pages and we're like, good God, who did this? Um, and it's not to say like, obviously the people back then, like they did not know anything better, so they did the best they could. And so and ever since that was one of the things that we wanted to establish was how to transcribe Korean songs, how to make sure that the grammar is correct, the spellings is correct, and all of that stuff. The other part of it was there was not necessarily a collective, I guess, right? Like we didn't really have a community to communicate with each other. Like Anna said, like she messed up something on like Butter's transcription night, and somebody had to DM her. But now we have a community and a Discord server where we can be like, it's easier to reach out to each other and like let them know what we're working on and like coordinate with each other. Back in the day, we would just yell at each other in DMs.
Yeah, and again, like because the thing with Genius DMs is that like because whenever like you have like a general like request, like it could be from like main Genius, like Rap Genius, or from like Genius UK, or from any other community, and if they have like a request, because like on Genius, like I think when you get flagged for like being a bot or like having too much suspicious activity, like you get flagged and then you can't do anything, so then your only choice is like message or like notify a moderator, and then you just press the button and it just goes to a random moderator. So we get like like tens of like honestly hundreds
Yeah,
of requests like every month.
All
So
the
I almost
time.
all the
literally like
time.
I don't go through my DMs, so it's like really tough. And the Discord server, like, oh my god, credits to TQ because it looks amazing and it's so easy to use. But like it's been a great help, the Discord server.
Yeah.
That's like free promo for our Discord server. Anyone's listening and isn't in our Discord server, we have space for non-Genius users and non-writers if you just want to come chat with our community. There's so many lovely people on here. We talk about a range of different things related to K-pop and Korean culture. So, this is free promo for our Discord server, and I hope I manage it well, and you can come, chat with us if you feel like it. In terms of ways that the website has changed in the last few years, in my perspective, I would agree in the sense that we have a lot of new rules now. I think not that we didn't have rules before, but it was definitely from my experience working on Western artists that I got more familiar with the rules or some of the like specific guidelines for, Genius as a whole that when we tried to or when Genius Korea was established, they didn't really have these rules like in place because no one was like moderating them in that sense. They kind of just, threw some song lyrics up there. We didn't know if they were actually accurate or if anyone even read them before they put them up. But,
Yeah.
through the years, we've gone through getting establishing a guide of like, how song lyrics should be formatted so that, they're readable for everybody and they're easily accessible, like, based on like different criteria and also and I tell like everybody that I'm promoting to transcriber and editor, here are some like key misconceptions or key points of error that a lot of people make that you should pay attention to, and it really just helps keep our lyrics super high quality for everybody who visits the site. I hope it's very easy for you to figure out what's going on in a song, and yeah, so that's something that That definitely changed over the last few years.
I think another thing, just because K-pop is K-pop, with like, like the confidentiality around like releases and stuff, and I think TQ can talk a lot about this. It's like leaks, because I I think a few years back we had a few really bad ones. Actually, I wouldn't know because I wasn't there a few years ago, but um, yeah, like we've had fans kind of get a bit like nervous, or like they kind of just screenshot whatever information is on Genius and run with it thinking that we're an official source. So, and these
We
two
are an
they've been
official source. What are you talking about?
these two they've been really good at like creating guidelines at like like making sure that no one's like, even if it's like unfortunately leaked by like the company or by, I guess I wouldn't call it a leak if it's published by KBS, but like
If it's
um
posted somewhere from an official source, it's not a leak.
yeah. But yeah, we've had a lot of we had trouble from fans, and I think even like a label, right? Because
Yeah, I think just jumping off of that a little bit, ever since we've established Genius Korea, we have been able to sort of monitor how Korean releases are happening on Genius, because K-pop being K-pop, fans are very quick to, you know, point fingers at people. And so, with there having been a community, we are able to tell Genius staff what is required and what's like what our needs are and how to best go about it, because um, Genius being a Western American company, they don't necessarily know how to interact with K-pop fans in that way, and so we've been like a middle person for a lot of things. Because I remember this one time when BTS was on Genius Verified video and they messed up something. It was like, what was it that they messed up? But they messed up like maybe like a subtitle or like the member's name or something like that. And they took down the video to fix it, but obviously in K-pop, fans were like, "What happened to the video? Like, why did you delete the video? And all these views are gonna be lost and stuff like that." And so we had to like sort of mediate that a little bit with Genius and like the BTS fans, say like, "It's gonna be back up, like just have patience." And we're working with Genius staff members to like expedite it as soon as possible. And so, yeah, we've become like the middle guy in between all of that.
So we want the juicy stories, all of your experiences from now. So, TQ, I know you have a very interesting experience. Do you want to talk about the KBS list?
Okay, so the KBS list kind of exists as this medium between, this is like an official source because technically the companies themselves requests or have to request their songs to get approved, and then all KBS is doing is publishing their approved song list. So technically these songs like are all like officially announced, but sometimes the companies don't announce them to the fans yet. And so because KBS is like to be trusted, a lot of these KBS or these songs that appear on KBS can appear on the Genius website because we know that KBS wouldn't lie to us. KBS will only post songs that the companies themselves have submitted, so these songs exist. But because they weren't announced officially to the fans, it could cause a lot of trouble because a lot of fans think that, or they find it on Genius especially, and Genius can source from KBS, but if you find it on Genius, you don't actually know if this is like a real song or something. Because another thing is that Genius is a really easy website to contribute to, and sometimes some, crazy fans of any kind of artist will come on the website and start making pages for songs that don't actually exist. And so you might think some of these like KBS list songs are those
Those
songs
kinds.
that like don't actually exist, but they do exist. And so sometimes when something appears, it could blow up in certain fandoms, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, like you should take this down because this is a leak." When I can tell you that we officially sourced this from KBS. So one of the recent issues we've come across was the Mark and Hechan collaboration, which was announced by KBS, I believe, the night before, or no, the morning of the morning that it went to the news outlets. So all the articles about the collaboration got published in the afternoon Korea time, whereas KBS List always gets published in the morning. And so because the KBS List was published in the morning, um, we managed to get the song page for the Mark and Hechan collaboration on the website before it went to the news outlets. And because a lot of fans ended up finding the page on Genius, they, went a little bit crazy because I think that Mark and Hechan collaboration was very, very anticipated and everyone was waiting for it. And the fact that we had a page was like an official confirmation of that. And so, on top of that, as much as people were excited, there were a lot of people that were like, "How do you know this is real? Like, take it down. Like, you don't want to start causing rumors." But I was like, well, it's not a rumor because it got confirmed. But there's like been a few troubles like that, and there's a lot more crazy stories that I can get into if unless someone wants to add first.
No, I just want to say, like, the bottom line is we never leak stuff.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
we're never gonna, because we do get embargoed information from artist managements and press releases, things like that. And there's a lot of stuff that we've received and we have never ever shared with the fans or publicly because we know the rules and guidelines around it. So we're never gonna leak something. Another thing I was gonna say is it's just a matter of like that KBS list isn't typically a thing that international fans know about, and so they think that it's some like almost like a invisible sort of like thing that it exists out there. They don't really know how to access it, and so they think like, oh, it's a leak. Also, the what TQ was mentioning about the fake pages that fans make, among the three of us, I'm pretty sure we delete like 20 of them every week. Like, we get so many of them. And it's not necessarily from like, crazy fans or anything. It's just, a lot of people, they make fan-made stuff or mashups and things like that. We have to delete all of that. So we are very actively deleting those pages. And even more actively for Korean artists than you would find for Taylor Swift or Lady Gaga or something like that. Like, those guys might have more fake song pages than a Korean artist will ever do. So, because we are very vigilant about it.
Fan wars, especially when you're dealing with K-pop artists and K-pop fans. You find yourselves in the middle of a lot of interesting situations. Was there any specific story that you wanted to say about when it comes to interacting with specific, maybe fan bases or fan interactions from Genius Korea?
Okay, so basically, I mean, because the one thing that fans and people in general also really need to realize is that running an account or a community like Genius Korea, you have to be a fan of everyone. You have to be a multi. You can't be a specific fandom focused person, because that's just not fair to if you're running in a Korean media outlet or like Korean entertainment focused outlet to pick and choose who you are promoting. With that being said, we do get a lot of there are a lot of moments where fans have been like, we post something and we don't necessarily post it because there is a fan war happening, because the fan war is happening in Stan Twitter almost every time. We just posted it because either it was like a scheduled tweet or it was like, just something happened on the Genius website and we want to update fans about it. And so we posted, and sometimes fans think like, oh, we're picking sides in a fan war. And so I remember there was a time with like Icon and ATEEZ that happened. Like, fans were feuding about it, and we posted about one of them, and they were like, oh my God, Genius Korea knows what's up. And I'm like, no, that was not the intention. at all. I love both of those groups, and so we've had like moments like that, or like when, because Genius is like a really unique website in the sense that it's a lyric website, but also you can find credits to all your favorite songs, and when you click on a name, it will take you to that page, and you can see all the other credits that they have worked on. And so fans use that in their fan wars as well to talk about, like who wrote the song and who worked on specific things. And it's a very big deal in K-pop for an idol to write their own music. So yeah, that happens a lot.
I wanted to talk specifically about going back to, again, being a part of Genius Korea means you are a multi, and one of the things I think you guys do best is also promoting underdog groups, right? Especially groups that are nugu, as we like to say.
Yeah. TQ does a very good job of like keeping us on radar with all these like smaller artists.
Yeah, would you say that's one of the kind of priorities?
Yeah, it was always like a goal for us to, like we love our big artists. We love Stray Kids, BTS, Blackpink, Twice. We love those big names, but it's always our goal to like, promote lesser known stuff, because also we now have a decent following, and we have like a decent kind of engagement on our social media platforms, and so we always try to like promote whoever releases a new song. We will try to promote it.
Yeah, I think I've gotten really into like the Nugu space, as we kind of call it. Because when I first got into K-pop, like I was like, I was like for all the big groups, and then I was getting into K-pop at the same time as my sister, and my sister was really into, finding new groups and finding like a lot of, underrated artists to kind of promote. And so I remember sometimes she would make me listen to like these songs that I'd never heard of. Especially like this is when fourth gen was really picking up with all the debuts, and I was listening to all these new songs, and I was like, this is so interesting. Like, why do like not a lot of people know about this? And so when I started like contributing to Genius Korea more, it was like, oh, like these are all like artists on my radar. We should make sure that we have like lyrics to all of them. And so I think now it's really funny. 4 or 5 years later, I've outgrown my sister in terms of how many like lesser known artists that I know. And so it's really funny because back then I used to like when I didn't know very much, I was like, oh, like how many members are in this group, or how many albums does this group put out? And I think the shock hasn't really, being on Genius Korea and working on this stuff, I feel like I've learned a lot more myself. Like there are certain like smaller groups that I've gotten myself attached to, and I'll always like try to contribute to their pages and make sure like their pages are finished with like which member sings what part. And it's really funny to me because sometimes now I go to my sister and I ask her the same questions, and she's like, I don't know, you know more than me now. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I guess like some of our favorites one have been like, for example, Purple Kiss. We always promote Purple Kiss no matter what their release is, like how popular it is or not. We always try to promote Purple Kiss. Gravity is another one. I know that these groups have gotten bigger over the years, but like back when they started, like we would always promote Gravity, always promote even like P1 Harmony. They just announced their arena tour in the US, but we have been with them since they were performing on like little stages since debut. So yeah, like those guys. Any other ones you guys can remember?
And for reference, we're talking about how Genius Korea does kind of make it a priority to promote underdog groups, and some of the specific groups that you want to highlight from Genius Korea is like we support G-Friend, we support Omega X, like those kinds of experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. So I used to, Side won't know this, but I used to do this off-radar column. I don't have a lot of time for it now, but what that meant was like I basically, because we get a lot of like press releases from like companies and stuff, and a lot of these are very underrated groups. One of them that I discovered, they're like my off radar column, is Trend Z, like Trend and a Z behind it. And they, I think like 2 comebacks ago, they worked with this one producer. Gosh, I can't remember his name, but he's pretty famous. I think his name starts with an out, like Leeds or something. I don't know. I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And so for context, Trendy is a more like EDM group. Like I think their most recent comeback was one too. It's like a summer comeback, Tropical House, I think. But 2 comebacks ago, they worked with Leeds, and it was a title track, and it had like this really good like bass or drum or guitar line or something, and I got hooked, and I yelled at Syed and DMs, and we weren't even that close back then. I don't think so. I don't like, we call each other every other day now, but like back then we were not that close, and I just went to yell at Syed and DMs. So I was like, thank you so much for like introducing me to this song. It landed on my, I didn't use Spotify back then, but it landed on my like Chinese streaming app, like Spotify, the equivalent of Spotify Wrapped. So it's like there's been a lot of artists that I've discovered from like Genius Korea. Oh, and there's this other one. His name is James Ann. He's like a he's like a rapper. He went on like Show Me the Money, and he had a comeback like I think 2 months ago, and I woke up and I had a message because I woke up from a nap, and it was like his release was releasing at like 12 p.m. like midnight EST time. I woke up from a nap to Syed's message saying, "Your boy dropped something. Go transcribe." And I was like, "Okay, I did not realize he was my boy, but thank you."
Yeah, we all have like specific artists that we love transcribing, and so
like.
Yeah, it's always like funny when like Stray Kids release happens, and I'm always like, TQ, where are you? Because another funny thing was that back when we started, Stray Kids weren't Stray Kids that they are right now, and so I remember I tweeted about them from work actually, and I miscounted the number of members. And so instead of, so it was still 8 members.
At the time.
I just took at the time. No, at the time it was 8 members, excluding the member that, yeah. But I just used 2 photos of Han in the photo, and so
I think TQ is gonna have some words with you after this is over.
But I did not know them that well back then. But that's the thing. Like, we always tried, even though I am not a fan of every single group in the same magnitude that, you know, I would, like, the way I know EXO, I don't know every other group. But I still tried my best to make sure that we're still promoting them. We're still posting updates about them and all of that stuff. And so, even though that was a mistake, and fans yelled at me, and fans were very fast in pointing out that it obviously, like, that was a stupid mistake, but I remember like that happened, or with NCT that has happened as well. So yeah, like those kinds of things happen, but I always I was very quick to, like, you know, take it down, post it again, because I still want the news or the update to be out there. I don't want to, like, you know, hide behind the fact that, oh, I made a mistake, I'm gonna, you know, scrap the article completely or scrap the post completely. So yeah, those kinds of things happened a lot in our early years. We used to make those kinds of
you
stupid
have
mistakes.
you know, again, all the lyric transcriptions, all of your interviews, everything that you guys cover and do for Genius Korea. I mean, there's a lot, right? It's a 24/7 operation, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Honestly, I still get.
Actually, that's
sorry. I was gonna say, honestly, I still get a bit scared. I'm an army, right?
Okay.
And I know how our fandom is like. I've seen like people get gutted for like making mistakes, and sometimes like even though I know like the members inside out, like I know where their tattoos are, I know everything basically. I still get scared like tweeting about them on like Genius, unlike Twitter. Like I read, honestly, like I'm probably the slowest to tweet out stuff when it comes to like the tweets happening at release hour, just because I read over them like hundreds. Side will know this. You guys will know this. I like delete and retweet like tweets like it's, oh my god, it's part of my trademark. But once there was this one tweet that came out and I was like, oh my god, there's something wrong. Back then we couldn't edit the tweets. So I had to delete it. And then I made another mistake. So I posted and like I posted it 3 times. And I
thank God for
literally
editing
so
tweets
then I
now.
like went into DMs. The side I was like that was me, by the way, because we used to have like a bot in Discord that would tell us if someone tweeted, and I was like, that was me. And then he's like, he sent me a gif, I think it was like from someone in 17, like I do not see like
Yeah, we just Twitter has been like really fun for
Yeah.
us. It's just it has caused a lot of drama, obviously, but at the same time, like it's been one of our favorite things to do, is like post about stuff. So, yeah.
Is there any
Our thirst tweets and our
Are there,
sorry.
from thirst tweets to anything? Is there any one that you're specifically more proud of, or you want to highlight for the audience to go check out?
My biggest accomplishment is when I posted San and Mingyu's photo from their MVs last year, from Ice on My Teeth, and Mingyu's from, what was that song from the hip hop unit?
La La Li.
Larari, yes. I posted it stills from Side by Side. That thing has like 400,000 views or
You'll
something.
know which stills we're talking about. Just you'll know.
That's like one of my recent most proud moment, I guess. But
yeah.
do you guys have anyone? Because I do have another one.
I have
I'll let you
one.
guys know. Go first.
Wait, I have one. Okay. This one's also very recent, and like I said, I was like kind of scared about posting on Twitter, so didn't really interact on Twitter like these 2 admins did. But I recently did, because J-Hope dropped a concept photo shirtless. So I was at work. First of all, I was at work. I opened it up at 11 a.m. EST, because that's when they released it. I opened it up and I'm like, like I'm in shock. And it was like a Zoom call, so like I turned off my camera, like just to like freak out about it. And then I decided, I was like, I should tweet something, because this calls for a tweet. So I tweeted, oh my god, like that's the only thing I tweeted, no context, oh my god. And I like quoted like the official like concept photos. And I closed my phone because I like after 30 minutes I saw it had 6 likes. I was like, okay, this is not gonna take off. And I had like another shift, so I went to my other shift. An hour in, I opened my phone. It has a million, like not like 1,000 likes, and I'm like, what happened? So then I realized Genius Japan, which like it's pretty close to us on Twitter, they posted like a hot emoji underneath our tweet, and then Syed, I think you liked it, or like commented back to it, and then like because it's like on Twitter, but you're basically seeing like 2 genius icons talking to each other, and one of them is freaking out about J-Hope. Like people, I guess, really liked that, and it became like the highest, one of our highest like tweets of that month. Like just the words, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
All the fans reposted it with like get
Yeah.
in line, like the photo.
Yeah, everyone was like, get in
It has-
line.
I'm
We're like, we have been in the
yeah,
line for 5 years.
I'm pretty sure it has
okay?
like 14 million likes, which is crazy. Like
Yeah. TQ, do you have anything from social that you're most proud of specifically?
I like I don't even know. Honestly, I can't think of anything on the spot. The most recent one that I can think of is I don't like I feel like I don't post that much either, but like when I post, it's mostly like when I'm at a concert or when I'm doing, something kind of interesting that's like kind of related. And so, as the resident Stray Kids fan of here, I recently went to my first Stray Kids concert, and I was like, this calls for a post because I've been on this website transcribing Stray Kids albums for the last 5 years, and I finally get to go to my own concert in my own city. And so I remember, that was like because it was really hot outside, and so I remember posting the tweet and then like turning off my phone so I like could save the battery and like it wouldn't like die of heat exhaustion or whatever, the technology involved in it being hot outside ruining your battery life or something. So by the time that I came back, by the time I turned my phone on again, it was like 30 minutes before the show, and I'm getting like pings from people that is like, "Oh, people want to give you freebies," and I was like, "What?" So I was like, another like fun moment in that like got to interact with other fans, a lot of cool people at this concert, and yeah, it just reminds me that I should post on this account every time I go to a concert because there could be some lovely fans that want to come give freebies and kind of meet some of the people behind Genius Korea because I guess we do a lot and I guess we're known. So yeah, that was at least one of my most recent moments in terms of tweets. I think Syed said he had more, so I'll let you take it
Wait,
back.
TQ.
Oh,
Wait, sorry. You should tell
Mm.
them what they gave you, what the freebie was.
yes, I was gonna say that.
So this one fan, like messaged us and was like, "Genius Korea, I have grass," and I was like, "What are they saying?" So, in our like back in the Genius server, everybody saw or like I think Syed like posted the message in our server and was like he added me and was like, "Hey, this fan wants to give you a freebie." And I was like like I could it was really sunny outside. So I was like trying to look at my phone and I was like trying to figure out what was going on because like Discord dark mode, Twitter dark mode. I was like, what is happening?" And so I was like, grass? Like, what does grass mean? And so I remember I found this fan and they were like, here's some grass. And it was actually just like a piece of turf, like a small piece of turf. And it was like because, I guess some K-pop fans need to touch grass that they were giving out like pieces of turf as freebies. And, I'm glad it wasn't anything else. It was actual turf
We were
because I was
freaking
scared.
out in the
I was like,
server. Like,
what?
what do they mean by grass? Like, because we were like, is it like, like shorthand for something, or
Yeah,
was it
because
like, like a reference for something,
in
or
the
like,
U.S.,
do they
it
have like,
definitely is. Like,
yeah? So, and everyone was like, we honestly thought that they were gonna give you that
Yeah.
grass.
so very thankful it's actual grass.
It was just turf.
But obviously, we're talking about Genius Korea on socials. But when it comes to social media, obviously, you're a little bit more expressive when it comes to your fandom, your fanness within the genre. But when it comes to interviews, I'm really curious. First of all, if there's a specific interview for Genius Korea that you're individually proud of the most, or that is your favorite, and then when it comes to approaching interviews for other artists, how do you kind of manage the balance between, being an industry professional and being a fan when it comes to those interviews?
I don't really tap into that side as much, and so I think when I do tap into that side, it really means something to me. So, like a few of the interviews that I've done over the years was, I think my first one was a Very Very interview. And Very Very is one of my sister's like favorite groups. And so, it was a really like big thing to like have like that as like one of our first few. Um and so I remember doing that for I was like I think that was one of the first ones, but I remember I was really into their album that they just released as well, and it was playing around my house like a lot because my sister and that was just a really cool experience. Like when we started doing interviews, I was like, this is real. Like we actually get, like these are just like people that like I have photo cards of, and now I'm actually like getting a chance to chat with them, ask them specific questions. So that was one for me. The other one I think was my interview with Pow, which is they're a little bit also underrated. Like not many people know them, but they sent back a video, and as much as I appreciated the video, it was all in Korean, and we didn't have any on-site translators to do, like to actually like translate all of the stuff for our article. And so I remember I was like, as it was a lot of effort, I gathered some of my Korean friends from school and I was like, hey, can you help me translate this whole thing? Like, I will treat you to a meal because I really just need this translated because this is like a really big deal for me, but I don't have the skills to actually do it like, well, at least like I could have tried, but I don't think I would have done as good of a job as, these people have. And so I'm like really thankful to my friends who decided to help me translate this interview. And after like I edited all, like I was really happy with it. And so I think just because of the amount of effort I had to put into that one, it sticks with me a lot. And I'm really happy that we've gotten so many different opportunities to interview big artists, small artists, unknown artists, indie artists. There's so many different artists that we've gotten a chance to sit down and learn more about, and kind of also introduce to the broader like K-pop community. Like, here are some artists that we interviewed. You might not know them now, but I hope like if you check it out, if you follow us, and like maybe you'll get into them too, because they all have like really great insights about their music making process, what they like to do, all these different things. So those are the highlights for
Anna,
me.
have you remembered one? Have you picked one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we actually, okay. The thing, okay. How do I want to say this? Okay. So I was actually a few years back. I was in Korea. I was doing like a study abroad program, and one of my roommates, she's really cool, by the way. She's a singer, and there was I don't know how she did this, but she was friends with a lot of like Korean singers and like rappers, and through her I met this one underground rapper, and I asked Syed at the time, I was like, can we interview him? Because actually one of our contributors like knew him, and so we kind of like wrote all the questions and stuff. And like it was kind of my first time like actually doing something like an interview like with someone that I like kind of knew, so it was like new and stuff. And also it was like really cool because like wow, like we're interviewing someone that someone in our community knows. And he so this is funny because he actually never replied to the interview, but there's a story attached with it. But basically we like sent him everything, but he goes to Yonsei, so he was really busy, and he kind of just forgot. But this the next day, not the next day, it was like a few weeks after that, I like told Syed like, hey, like I know we're editing this article, but I'm about to hit the Hyundai Club Street, and Syed decided to call me out in the server. He wrote something like, hey, Anna's going to be hitting the Hyundai Club Street today. I wonder which K-hip-hop artist will get an interview with today. And I was like, oh wow, thank you. Yeah, so like, okay, I'm like, okay, I am like a party animal. Like I've done, like I go to frat parties and I've like read article drafts there as well. But like, yeah, like that's probably one of my favorite memories regarding our Genius interviews. Sorry for this like tangent.
It's great.
No.
Yeah.
For me, it's weird because for me, there's stuff that I'm proud of as a founder for Genius Korea, that the opportunities that we have gotten, and obviously like those opportunities have been done by other like members of the group or the community. And so like a very big pinch me moment was when we got Sunmi, and because I love Sunmi, like if you know me, like I love her, and it was like a very early interview that we got, and then, or just the fact that we have interviewed P1 Harmony like multiple times, so that has been a very cool thing that we've like that their team trusts us enough that they would give us an opportunity again is a big deal. And that's where we the whole line between fanness versus professionalism goes, is like, even though we are fans, we know how to be professional, and we know how to what the boundaries are, what those kinds of things are. So we recently interviewed a Bloom, which I was so proud of, so much. Like, yes, thank you so much for getting us that opportunity. Personally, I am very proud of the interviews that we have done with songwriters and producers, because I feel like they don't really get that kind of spotlight that other like idols do. And so I've interviewed songwriter, her name is Charlotte Wilson, and she worked on NMIX and Drama by aespa and Jaehyun's debut album. And so like getting to know their creative process behind the scenes and all of that stuff has been really cool. So yeah,
are there any other future collaborations, if you will, or interviews or artists that you would like to maybe interview in the future?
That's a really good question. I've never thought about it. I mean, obviously I've thought about it, but like
realistically,
because realistically, like obviously, like I would love to interview Stray Kids, but that's not gonna happen.
I would love to interview BTS, but that's not gonna happen.
But realistically, I feel like maybe for solo stuff, like if Stray Kids, like a member of Stray Kids were to release a solo album, that would be more like we could potentially get, because I love Three Raja. So like their lyricism, their songwriting has been something that like, that's one of the reasons why I want to like keep going with Genius Korea.
With Truman, there was this line that me and Sai, we couldn't figure out. So I was like, okay, don't worry, let me ask my Korean friend. So I sent it to my Korean friend at like 2 a.m. And he's like, can I see the context? And I said, it's a Stray Kids song. He's like, oh, okay, I can't help you. He was like, their songs are their artists to translate. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'll ask my Korean professor. The next day I go into class, I ask my Korean professor. And it's like a play on the idiom, like, actually I couldn't even tell you, but it's like about balls or something, like, you can't eat out of a ball. I don't know. I asked my Korean professor, I was like, what does this mean? She said, that idiom does not exist. And I was like, so what does it mean? What does it mean? But yeah.
Yeah. So essentially what we figured out was that they customized the idiom to fit their own song. So it was chopped up and placed together like in a way that worked only for the song. Which is like another, like, obviously a mind-blowing thing that they do. And I remember like when they released, what was that album with Ordinary, with Maniac on it, and we were trying to translate Muddy Water, and TQ and I were like talking about it. We were like, literally every single line we were like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And it took us like a good 30 minutes to translate that song because of how like brilliant they are. And the thing is that like we obviously we're talking about Stray Kids, but there's so many Korean artists who do that in their music, that, and we are able to like because we work with lyrics all day long, we see these things that other people don't. And I always try to highlight that whenever I see something cool, whenever I see like I know like 80s does it, or Jackson Wang has done it, or like Taeyong from NCT, like, or any of the BTS members, like they do stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, my mind is just like blown away by how like brilliant, or like just how clever it is.
We're lyric geeks, for real.
I mean, you're Genius Korea.
Yeah,
I would hope that you would be lyric geeks, right?
It's also another thing, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like not many outlets focus on lyrics in K-pop. When it comes to K-pop, most people talk about the music and the choreography and the music video and things like that. Nobody talks about
I
lyrics in
I
K-pop.
have a story. If this is not like fit for broadcast, you can cut it out. But I was doing a roundtable interview, and for roundtable interviews, like you send in your questions beforehand, but if someone
Right.
asks your question, like you can't do anything about it, right? And one of the questions I sent in was, "What is your favorite lyric?" Because I think that as Genius Korea, we should ask that question. And then someone asked it, and I was like, "Oh, stay in your lane." I was like, "How dare you?" I like texted Syed. I was like, "Someone asked my question." But anyway,
Like there's so many. Like I feel like I've discovered so many like great artists during my time like working with Genius Korea. So like any kind of interview opportunity that I get with like especially like an artist that I've like followed from like, like they were small like when I started adding their stuff to Genius Korea and now they're like big. Like I think any kind of that opportunity like, would be great. Especially so like I don't really do very many interviews. I don't really even do that many articles, but like when I get a chance to do them, it's like, I guess it is kind of a big deal for me. And so I like honestly whatever opportunities like I'm like always discovering new groups as well. Like so many groups debut like every month there's always like a new one and like I think just like, seeing like what everybody like how different all these different groups are is like amazing. And so like honestly like I don't have like I feel like I don't have like super like high expectations, but also like like interviewing stray kids would be
Got
great,
it.
but like I like never thought about that before. I'm gonna be really honest. Like um but
We know
any
our
kind
limits. We
yeah.
know our
yeah.
limits, you know.
Like if you beg me to gravity interview, I'll take it. But like so like I'm like I just like any kind of like group that I follow. Like I've started following a lot more groups because I contribute on Genius Korea. And so I think any kind of opportunity like that, if it's there and I'm like, you know what, I'll take it, then I will take it. And I'm like I'd happy either way. Like that's really
I
all I have to say for
when it
that.
comes to so we've talked about highlighting lyrics on Genius. We've talked about our interviews, but the other thing that we wanted to talk about, right, was the Genius charts, right? Can you explain a little bit more about what, specifically for anybody who doesn't know what that is?
So basically on Genius we have a like page view counter for every page. We see how much traction every page gets at any given time. And so really these Genius charts that we started posting on our social medias is basically just like a collection of like all of the songs that we have, just just like to just like be transparent about what's what's trending, what was really big this month, what was really big in the year. And so um we have like a lot of spreadsheets down there to track all of
Yeah.
these like crazy all the different releases in a
Are
month.
these are these manual spreadsheets? Please tell me some of these are automated.
So parts of it are automated, but parts of it are manual. I think unfortunately right now the biggest parts of it are manual because the like if we were to try to automate it, it's like a lot more technicalities like that has to do with like the Genius site. And I don't want to throw any technical engineering terms at you because this is not the space for it, but it would involve a lot of technical engineering that
Okay.
I I haven't gotten there yet. Let's say I've put together what a formula we have, and so it works for now. And so hopefully in the future we can like when we automate it, you'll know because we'll be posting way more, and it'll be way more efficient, and it'll be faster. So unfortunately we haven't gotten there yet, but right now we do our best to tabulate as much as we can tabulate. And I think Syed should take it from here because I just like work on the back end of it.
Yeah. I think it's like, the reason why we started doing it was because we wanted to show like which kind of songs are, because if it's trending on Genius, then it means people are looking up lyrics for the song, and that's a unique thing. You don't see that information or data when you look at Melon charts or what's trending on Spotify or what's trending on YouTube and things like that. If it's on Genius, that means people are interested in the lyrics, whether it's the translation page or the romanization or the original Hangul page. So also, it's a really cool way for us to see how much work we do, because every month we tabulate around 300 to 400 songs. That is 400 songs transcribed, translated, adding all the credits to all the pages, making them all nice and pretty and all of that stuff. And so, I mean, it's kind of overwhelming if you think about it like that, but then at the end of the year, we have like around like 5,000 songs that we have transcribed. And we don't think about it that way when, you know, like talking in K-pop fan spaces, like 5,000 songs were released in a year. Like, how insane is that? You know? And that's excluding indie music in Korea. Like, that's excluding all your indie rock bands, things like that, that we don't even try. Like, sometimes we tried it in the middle for a little bit. We were like, okay, we're gonna, you know, keep track of indie songs. It just got so out of hand for us. We were like, nope, let's stick to the mainstream stuff. But yeah, like fans need to, I feel like fans sometimes don't realize this, that I really hope that they do, or like readers do, that, you know, we can tell when a song is organically popular, when a song is, you know, just people want to sing along to songs. For example, if a romanization page for, like, I remember it was a Twice song that got really popular last year. I knew that people wanted to like sing along to it, and when you look at like you know what's trending on TikTok and things like that, those are the songs that are trending on TikTok because people want to like, you know, lip sync the song while they're doing the challenges and like all the fun videos. And so we can tell what's organically popular and what's not organically popular. That main Genius or the other Genius staff can't do that. Or like anyone else for that matter, they can't realize that. If a translation page is popular, then you best believe that an Idol member wrote that song. You go back and look at it. Sometimes I see like, you know, pages trending and I'm like, okay, wait, what's the story behind this? And you find the story and it's like an Idol member wrote it, or, you know, like it's about something personal, or it's about something, you know, really close to their
when it comes to
heart.
your top songs of the year list, are they mostly influenced by the Genius charts, or how you see certain songs performing from those lists?
So
let's get into this. Okay.
So so Genius charts is not specifically an us thing. Genius Main does their own Genius charts. Genius Japan does their own Genius charts. Like Genius charts is like, I think we were the ones that kind of like
I take the credit for that. I coined that term, and then Main Genius took it. So yeah, okay, keep going. But yeah,
so
that was me.
So as much as like Genius Korea also like does articles, Genius like main Genius staff also does like these kinds of articles that showcase, or they started showcasing, you know, what the top songs of like, you know, the website are. And in one of their columns, they had a section that said top K-pop songs, and it was, to say it lightly, it was wrong. And so we were like confused. It was so wrong that we don't even know how they got the information. And the whole thing is that because they published this article and they posted about it on like their socials, big Twitter accounts like Charts Data, they like, you know, extracted it and was like, here are Genius's top K-pop songs of 2024. And we looked at it and we're like, well, no, because just like I have no idea where they got that information. And so we were discussing amongst ourselves, like, what do we do? Because as Genius Korea, like, we actually post like our top K-pop songs, and like whatever tabulation methods they used like didn't match ours, and so it was going to be like a whole thing if like we posted something and then Genius posted something and they were different. And so That was like a whole thing in itself. I think it got a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah,
crazy.
it got out of hand because it was posted directly on Twitter and fans just took it in the wrong way. But essentially, what we're trying to say is that um, because we monitor these pages
Right.
all year long, we know what's popular all year long, and so but Genius staff doesn't do that because they have so many other songs to like keep track of, right? Like main Genius and Western artists are much bigger than K-pop in general, but it also went back to the fact that Genius being a Western website, a lot of the traction that these pages get, they get them on their translation pages instead of their original Korean pages. And so you have to look at it from like a wider lens and like factor in all of those things before you decide what a popular K-pop song on the website is. For example, I can tell you right now, like when Aputo released last year by Rosé and Bruno Mars, the Romanized page hit 2 million page views before the end of the year. That is insane for any song, for that matter. And because I don't know because again we don't know how Genius tabulated or calculated this stuff. Aputo was not included in that list, which if you talk to anyone, they will tell you that Aputo was one of the biggest songs of 2024, but it wasn't included on the Genius list. So again, like we have no idea how they calculated it, but that is straight up wrong.
Yeah, and I don't know if we got into this, but like one of the biggest misconceptions is that we like are affiliated with Genius, which we like. Yes, we are hosted on the Genius website, and we are an extension of like the activities that Genius do, like main Genius, right? But at the same time, we're also our own like kind of independent collective. We're completely volunteer based. Like none of us get paid. We do this out of our pure love for K-pop. Yes, the kindness of our hearts. Yeah. But like so a lot of the times, but like a lot of times when fans see stuff that main Genius posts, where like for example, if artists like we post about artists and artists are really excited to see like their names next to Genius because Genius is a media giant. Like say what you will about like Genius, right? Like sometimes they confuse us. They're like, oh, they tag Genius instead of Genius Korea, but it's just it's a very easy to confuse like distinction between us, like us, our two entities. But like obviously we're very grateful that like we're able to have this space because of Genius, but at the same time like there are technicalities that we need to take just because like Genius again is like a Western website.
And I think it's like again, like it's very easy for people to get confused because you have other media outlets like Vogue and Vogue Korea or like BuzzFeed UK. So it makes sense for them to think like, oh, it's Genius Korea, Genius Japan, Genius UK. And I think one of the biggest things that I really want people to realize is that the reason why Genius is able to like, invite all these artists to do interviews and verified videos and all of those things is because there's a unpaid community of contributors
Speak on it.
called Genius Korea, transcribing songs and translating songs every single day at 3 a.m. in the morning. And so, or like 5 a.m. for us now, but back then it was 3 a.m. for me. But it's the reason why, because we are the ones who are transcribing it, adding all that data, that those songs are able to trend on Genius for staff to take notice of it and then invite those artists to their platform. There's a disconnect because people think like, oh, NCT was in New York, so they went to the Genius headquarters and filmed a video. No, that's not why it happened. It was because their song was trending and a staff member took notice of it and they reached out and like made that collaboration happen. It all goes back to one of us in the community staying up at 2 a.m. to transcribe Fact Check by NCT 127. So,
Yeah, and I feel like here we moderators really would like to shout out the community because like we are on top of our translations and transcriptions, but honestly, like the community does so much. And these are people that like you might not really hear about, but like they are the backbone. They like, oh my god, they carry this
Yeah.
entire operation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like if, like, without them, I would probably get no sleep any day of the week because there's always so much to do. And I remember back when there have been days where I've like, I've been up and I was the only person transcribing, I think maybe 20 to 30 songs on three different albums. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so much to do. And so, it's always really nice when you have like a community of people. And so like, I get my sleep, sometimes. And so at least sometimes it's more than never. Um, and yeah, so just really happy that we have like community members that contribute in multiple different ways, and then now we have like our new article writers and our old article writers. We have like we're trying to expand our reach a little bit more into a lot of different spaces. Um, yeah, no, so really just a big thank you to like the community for sticking around, and also like our community is open invite if you think this is the space for you, to like if you want to start contributing to lyrics or you want to write articles about smaller artists that don't think have enough like a lot of reach, then you're always welcome to join us on Genius Korea because our community is open invite and we have a lot of resources for you to like get started, start contributing. There's like we're always welcome. It's always great to have some new some help everywhere here and there.
And we'll have links, right, to everything where you can go to get started if you're interested in the description of the episode. Yeah. On that note, again, this is the 5th-year anniversary episode, so we want to talk about what you guys see in the future of Genius Korea. Like what do we think the next 5 years is going to be like, from either trends or how you think the Genius Korea community is going to grow or change or focus.
I used to joke about this. I was like, because when we started it, and there are moments when we're like, oh my god, I want to end it all. In terms of Genius Korea.
Yes.
Anything serious. But I used to joke about it, like how, because we have started this thing that kind of just has to keep going. Because K-pop is not going to stop making music, and you're always going to need lyrics for their songs. And so it's like, what's the end goal here? But I don't know. I just every single year I'm grateful that we made it to the next year, sort of thing. I'm gonna be completely honest, I've never had very high expectations or anything like, very high things that I want to achieve or anything like that. I honestly feel like for all our contributors, whether they contribute on the website or they're writers or whatever, graphic designers, translators, social media people, everyone, I feel like for Genius Korea to be just a stepping stone for them to bigger and better things in their life, and for whatever time they spend with us, I hope that it's a fun time and it opened bigger opportunities for them. It has for our writers, which has been like some of the coolest things to hear about when I like interact with them now. They're like, I started contributing on Genius Korea and now I'm doing articles for the Grammy website or like Rolling Stone Korea, and I'm like, amazing, keep going. But 10 years down the line, I have no idea where it's gonna be.
So because I work or because I oversee a lot of the transcriptions and translations on the website, I meet with the contributors, like the ones that, contribute to translating and transcribing, at least once a month. And in one of these sessions, we were chatting, and it was so funny. One of the contributors was like, "Oh, like we like because we do so much great work, like what if we got paid?" And I was like, well, unfortunately, we're gonna be volunteer based for pretty long time. And so I really found it funny. It was like, oh, like, like, what if we got like 1 cent for every week that you contributed to the website? And I was like, because I've been on the website for 9 years, I was like, okay, that's like $5. Like, I should get $5. And I was like, that's like enough for a coffee. And so we were talking about like, oh, like, what if you do another like another like 10 years? And I'm like, okay, that's $10, but probably in 10 years, a coffee is probably going to cost $10 in 10 years. So, like, it won't even be that much of a difference. Um, yeah, but no, really, I do think, like, we're just gonna, like, keep growing. Like, hopefully, like, people can come and go, but, everyone that sticks around to transcribe at least a little bit, translate, offer some contribution in any way, like I appreciate all of it. And I think just, like, in the next 5 years, like, I hope, like, we can continue to do this for people, and we can, we'll get more reach and we can cover a lot more artists. And so I hope like we help a lot of people, whatever this ends up helping them with, because like for me, or transcriptions especially, like being a transcriber in the real world is also a job that exists, and being a translator in the real world is also something that exists. So like, getting your start here is, if somebody comes to me and says like, I did translations for Genius Korea for X number of years, and now I work at the UN. Like, I would be like, I'm like, you know what? I'm happy for you. Like, I would love to hear a story like that.
Yeah, I also used to joke like at our 7 year, because like the K-pop 7 year curse with contracts. I said in our 7th year we should do like a contract signing, like we broke the 7 year curse, like thing like that. That would be fun. But yeah, like same with them. I honestly do not, because honestly, Genius Korea snowballs. Like if like this time last year, like would we have imagined where we are today? No. Like, my God, like, wow. Right? So, I honestly don't know where it's gonna go in 10 years, but, I mean, I'm someone who wants to work in the music industry, like, after graduation. And, like, Genius Korea, like, honestly, even more than my degree, like, what I'm learning in school, it's gotten me into, like, more opportunities than like my actual degree, which says something. And I think there's always going to be an influx of K-pop fans who are passionate, want to work in the industry, want to contribute. So I'm just out here hoping like a lot of them find their way to us and we can just keep this going.
Yeah. Another thing, a very selfish thing actually. I kind of want to see. Okay, so we publish a lookbook at the end of every year, and we've been doing that for 2 years now. And I always want to see like it be printed, like physical print, would be something really cool to like hold it in my hands. I almost did it last year, but it costed like way too much, and I was like, no. Maybe if you get a sponsor or something. But yeah, like to actually physically hold all of that work, because it's a collection of everything that we do in a year, from transcribing, articles, interviews, everything that we've loved doing that year. We put it all in the lookbook. So yeah, it will be really cool.
I think we're gonna wrap up on that note. Thank you again, guys, for taking the time. I know it's a busy album cycle, busy promotions. You've had comeback. We're right in the middle of comeback, but we had to talk. We had to celebrate the fifth year anniversary with you guys. Before we go, though, is there anything, any current thing that you want to promote or for people to go check out, and then maybe teasing any future projects or maybe things you can talk about?
All I can say is I hope that, like we get, like, I hope that more people come and join us and, come contribute to, learn how to transcribe songs. Like, like we always have a lot of releases happening all the time. And, just to have more people that can come on and can, add these lyrics and start and translate, to help the broader community. I think that's like, some of the best things that you can do, like as a K-pop fan, like it, and like for me, like it, it makes me feel useful. Like I'm like doing a service to the K-pop community by being there, transcribing, helping do romanizations and translations. And so, I don't have very much to tease. All I can say is that if you come join Genius Korea, we have a fun time. Like, it's serious in the sense that we have to get transcriptions and translations up all the time, but it's also a really fun time. And, you can chat with other users that also have, like, are in the same fandom spaces as you and, like the same kinds
Okay,
of things as you.
and
So
any specific
that's
thing
what
you
I
want
can
to
say.
promote for yourself or Genius Korea, and then
Ooh. I also don't have a lot of upcoming projects per se, but I will say I've had a lot of interest from people on LinkedIn. Now that I'm like a LinkedIn pro now, but there's a lot of people who want to contribute and write for us, and again, we always welcome like guest pitches. So if you have an article idea and it's about K-pop and you're very passionate about it, like my DMs are always open. I know Sai is on LinkedIn a lot. His DMs are always open. Yeah, like honestly reach out. I mean, I never really expected to be stepping into this leader role when I kind of came back to Genius, but now that I'm here, like, I really want to because I know people already say, like, if you want to work in the K-pop industry, you have to be in the K-pop industry. It's like, it's possible to, like, it feels impossible to break through. I mean, that's it for a lot of industries, but I think for the K-pop industry especially. And again, like Syed said, we want to be a stepping stone. And, like, Genius Korea, it's like our baby, I would say, but we're not gatekeeping it. If you have, like, something you want to share with the rest of the community, like, we're here for you. You just gotta, I don't know, like, make the first step. This sounds so
submit
cheesy,
the audition,
but yeah.
if you will. Show up for the open call.
Sure.
Yeah.
Global edition. And there's no age limit, so.
No age limit.
Sorry, just had to get that shade out.
Oh my god. The one thing that I would promote is that we've just relaunched our TikTok account on like last month, and it's been popping off, and so proud of us. But yeah, we have two amazing TikTok managers who have been putting in a lot of work, and so please go follow that. We have like amazing stuff coming out. In terms of articles, like that's one of my favorite things that I love writing articles, and I love when fans like interact with that stuff. And I've written articles that are like 5 years old or like
in
4
academic
years old,
research,
and people still
yes.
quote it. It's just like, wow. In academic, TQ has been cited in Wikipedia. Like, that is an accomplishment. But yeah, no, like just the other day, like somebody retweeted like one of my old articles about G Idol, and I was like, whoa, that's a flashback. But yeah, no, we have like amazing writers who have joined the team, and so they are working hard on putting stuff out. There's some amazing stuff coming out in August.
No concept photos. No,
which I'm really excited.
Any other little hints? No.
Do you guys want to do photo cards?
Maybe for our 7th
Ooh,
anniversary.
Yes, for the 7th anniversary, we'll come back,
to
on
that.
K-pop Cast.
Okay, but again, all right. Thank you guys again for taking the time to sit down with me. I know with all your busy schedules. Listeners, wrapping up, obviously you can find everything, all of the links to everything we've mentioned in the episode description. You can find all of our socials in the episode description. Are there any specific socials that people can find you guys at, or is it mostly just go to the Genius Korea? Follow Genius Korea everywhere, right? To get the latest updates on everything. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So before we say goodbye,
Yes.
any last comments? Any last things that we want to say?
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank everybody for listening too.
Thank you.
Yeah.